All right, what's up, everyone? It's Zach, and today I'm here with a good friend of mine, Anastasia Schanner. How are you doing today?
Hi, Zach. I'm doing really good. How are you doing today?
Good. I'm good, thanks for asking. Glad to have some time to chat with you today.
Yeah, it's really nice and something new that we haven't done yet. So, like
Yes,
making a podcast together. So this is really nice, and thank you for the opportunity.
of course. Thank you for the time. So, Anastasia, you're currently a student, model, gamer, up and coming streamer. It's kind
Yeah.
of how I describe you a little bit, just like from a surface level. But do you mind kind of talking a little bit about who you are, what you do, and just a little more about yourself?
Yeah, of course, of course. So, hi, my name is Anastasia. I'm 22, turning 23 in May, and maybe you can hear from my accent. I'm not from America. I'm from Finland, which is in Europe. So it's a it's something that you can hear from my voice. I'm pretty sure that. And then yeah, like you said, I'm a student. I'm now studying business, and I'm hoping to go into like political science slash international relations slash diplomatic, more of that area. But yeah, I'm still studying business, and well, what do I tell? Yeah, I'm a gamer. I do play a lot of games and I really enjoy that. And I'm an ex basketball player. I played in a
Yep.
youth national team in Finland. And yeah, that's about it. That's who am I.
Awesome.
That's who am I in a surface level.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the little background and yeah, to anyone listening and maybe picked up on the accent, when we were just starting, as Anastasia was saying, just from Finland. So definitely, a different perspective and the first, yeah, definitely the first international guest that we're
Yay!
getting on. So super excited about that.
I hope I'm not the last one.
I hope you're not either, like I would love to reach many people from many different, countries and places in the world. I think it's really cool. And I think just like from talking to you, I've discovered more of like an appreciation for other, places in the world and just other values and cultures. So it's really cool to hear about your experiences.
Yeah, it's in my opinion, it's so nice to have your own experience, like
Yeah.
from personally from someone who is from abroad. So of course, media and movies and news tell you something about like other cultures, but it's totally different when you hear from someone personally. So I think it's really
Yeah,
great.
definitely. And I know something that like we've talked about, off the record is just in your life, you've done a lot of traveling. So, like, in addition to your own kind of like upbringing and culture, you've been able to experience quite a few others and just kind of see how there's so many different things that different places have to offer and to teach us.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And also, I forgot to mention, so I'm from Finland, but my mom is from
Oh,
Germany. So I also have like a, well, not like, well, yeah, German background, but then also my upbringing has some effects from German culture also. So that's really cool.
yeah, definitely really cool. It's nice to have that perspective as well. And something that maybe someone listening might be kind of thinking or curious about is, um, we're obviously having this conversation in English, and I would say, just from knowing you, like you're very fluent. It sounds very good or, polished or
Thank
whatever.
you.
Uh, yeah, of course. So, like, I guess just for those listening, this isn't your first language by any
No,
means.
not by any means, no. So,
How long, remind me, like, when did you learn, like,
um,
officially start learning?
so it's like elementary school. I think, well, we have different schooling systems that you have, but like
Right.
at 8 years old, I started learning English, and then I'm studying all the time, of course, but like 8 years old,
Hmm.
then because, well, I live in Finland, we have another official language, which is Swedish. So I started learning that at 11 years old. And then I had some French lessons at high school. And then, of course, I've been learning German since I was a baby, but at school
Right.
since I was 9 years old. So, yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. So Finnish, English,
Swedish,
Swedish,
German,
German,
and France a bit. But, like,
a little French.
yeah,
Yep. Okay.
French, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I knew you could speak a lot of languages.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but like hearing the list, I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, I forgot. There's that is a
Yeah,
lot.
but it's like so different in Finland. Like the schooling system really wants you to learn language,
Yeah.
because Finland is such a small country. We have 5 million people in here. Like the whole country has just 5 million people, and like we are a huge country. I think
Yeah.
well, you're from Michigan, so I think we talked about this. It's like 2.5 times bigger than Michigan, and we have like
Yeah.
only 5 million people here. So, of course, we don't
Right.
have that good of, job opportunities or, businesses. So, the
Yeah.
global, uh, we need to have like that global talent if you want to
Yeah.
succeed in your career. So, yeah.
Definitely. Remind me, what was the thing that you told me a while back about like something about Texas and like comparing to size or something?
Yeah, so of course, I don't know about your listeners, but a lot of people haven't been in Europe, so
Right.
comparing Texas to Europe, almost like, well, Texas is as big as over half of the Europe. So like the whole center of Europe will fit into Texas. So that's like it's just crazy.
That
Yeah.
is. Oh my gosh. When you told me that, I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like, I knew Texas was big, but I didn't
It's
realize it
like
was
it's
that.
a whole continent. Like it's
Yeah.
it's
Oh
amazing.
my gosh. That is.
Yeah,
Oh man.
that's
Awesome. So, something that we've talked about, just kind of already today and just even off the record on our own time is just, the interest of gaming that you have.
yeah,
And even even I would say back to when you were playing basketball, they're kind of both of those I would say are things that, obviously there's women's basketball
of
and,
course.
here in the States, like, the WNBA and professional women's basketball, but it's, I would say more so a male sport
Yeah.
and gaming's more of like a male kind of dominated industry. What's your experience been like, or what is it like for you being a woman in those kind of spaces?
Well, I'm over 6 feet tall, as you know, so I'm
Yeah.
super tall. So that has always been like my advantage, in my
Hmm.
opinion. And as someone who is super tall, that sporty, skinny body type, uh, I've I've always been one of the boys.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that it has helped me in my career a lot because I've known girls who are, not that sporty and they get bullied a lot by those sporty
Hmm.
guys who feel, I don't know, threatened or just, well, they're total jerks. But I just
Yeah.
feel like, how would I say it? It's super sad that girls are afraid of doing quote unquote boy sports or men
Hmm.
dominated sports. And also with the gaming, I've noticed that a lot of girls or women who game, they don't want to use their mics because of course then you're gaming with the girl when you hear their voice.
Yeah.
So they feel super insecure about that because a lot of men will bully them or make those misogynist, how you say that word, my
Misogynist.
misogynist jokes about them. And
Yeah.
sometimes men can be really like, they do gatekeep a lot of like stuff like games, and they
Yeah.
will be super toxic because they don't want like women to have the same experience as men, or
Right.
sometimes women can be like a superior, or she's better in basketball, or she's better at like Call of Duty or something like that, and men feel
Yeah.
really threatened by it, and then they
Hmm.
will be super toxic and make so gross jokes and comments and remarks for the women. So it's, well, you asked how it is. It's hard.
Yeah.
It takes a toll, and well, like I said, I've always been one of the boys, and I've experienced some harassment, but like I know a lot of women who has experienced a way more than I have. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely tough and it's sad,
Mm.
just like just thinking about like you specifically, like you're doing things or you have done things that you really enjoyed or that, you're passionate about, which is, the theme of this
Yeah.
podcast, talk about
Yeah.
passions, yet you have experienced or even know in the back of your mind you can experience, that kind of negativity or, you know,
Yeah.
harassment or just kind of bad comments just because you're doing what you're
Yeah.
doing, but you don't maybe quote unquote like fit the mold of what or who is like expected to be doing those
Yeah,
things.
and like it's super sad that I'm passionate about it, and that's something I love to do, and that's just my hobby. Like, okay, basketball was be
Yeah.
more than just a hobby, but gaming is just a
Hmm.
hobby, and I don't get paid, or that's just
Right.
something I want to use my time on, and still have those comments. Like, I'm not even a pro, so I'm just
Yeah.
thinking like how much shit will people who are pro at gaming or pro at basketball will get
Yeah.
when they're like, yeah.
Definitely. And I mean, it's interesting because like I know that we've talked about how, you have gaming as like a big passion and it's something you enjoy spending your time on, but now you're, branching into the idea of streaming
Yeah.
and kind of not, necessarily dropping everything in life to make it your career or anything, but like just something that you want to do. And, who knows, maybe it becomes something you do more seriously. Maybe it becomes something you do full time at some point, who knows, but
Hey,
just kind of like having that in the back of your mind, like, are you, I guess, worried any of like kind of putting yourself out
of
there or like
course.
like
Of
nervous?
course, I'm super nervous, and I've read
Yeah.
a lot about like, posts on Facebook or on Reddit where people, mostly women, tell that, they bought a face cam, they, used a face cam for the first time, and they got
Hmm.
so horrible comments about how they look, or they will lose followers. Like, this
Yeah.
one girl told that she had quite a good following already, and, she was really good at gaming, but she never,
Hmm.
you know, told anyone that she's a girl. She just, like, gamed under a nickname, and the nickname was kind of like, you wouldn't couldn't tell the gender of it. And then she
Right.
like kind of just bought a face cam, used it for the first time, and she lost so many followers.
Oh my
And she got
gosh.
all those comments like, oh my freaking god, you're a girl, I would never ever followed
Yeah.
you if I would knew like you're false advertising. And she got so mean comments like, do you have a boyfriend? I
Yeah.
hope you don't have a boyfriend. That's like,
Yeah.
it's just, it sucks. And of course I have like,
Yeah.
I'm super nervous about it because of course, like having the game itself, like you have to be a good gamer if you are like a gamer girl, you know. And
Yeah.
then, you know, everyone can see my face and they can like judge me if they want. But like, yeah, it's a huge step.
Yeah. It definitely is. And I think that that's, just something that I've been having conversations with other people on the podcast is just like when you're really passionate about something and it's important to you, the hardest thing to do is kind of like to take that first step, but it's so important to, and like, I hope for you and your journey, you're able to take that
Yeah,
step and hopefully it will be a positive experience. I'm sure just like with anything anyone does in life, there's probably going to be some hate, people
of
hate
course,
to
of
or love to
course.
hate, but just being able to kind of stick with it and keep doing it because at the end of the day, like I know you care about it and you love doing it. So, I'm all for seeing you or anyone do what they love to do, no matter what people
Yeah,
have to
that's
say.
true. And that's like a really good tip or a point. Like I told you, I think it was last week, I'm doing it for me. Like I'm not
Yeah,
doing it for anyone else or some, you know, some incel telling me to go kill myself because I don't look the way he wants me to look or, you know, something like
right.
that. I'm doing it for myself and because it makes me happy and I'm passionate about it. So it's like the most important thing is to do things that make you happy.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that like we talk a lot about kind of like being kind to ourselves and
Mm-hmm.
self-care. And I think that, doing something that you love and doing something for yourself, that's a huge act of taking care
Yeah.
of yourself and, being kind to yourself and just doing what you love.
Yeah, and usually it's the hardest part is being kind to yourself. Like we've
Yeah,
talked about it a lot. We can be kind to each other, but then, or someone else, some random, like, you know, you see a nice post on Instagram and, you know, she or
yeah,
he has great clothes and you think like, oh my God, they look amazing. And then you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh my God, I hate my body, you know? So it's, you can
right.
be kind to everyone else, but not to yourself. And I think being kind to yourself, it is super hard, but it's the most important
Yeah,
also. Like, of course, don't be a
definitely.
shithead to people around you. I don't mean that, but like, be
Yeah.
as kind to yourself as you are to the people around you.
Definitely. I think that's such a great point because, I know for you and for me and probably for many people listening to this, it's so easy to be super nice to someone else, whether like they're a really good friend, they're a family member, they're a complete stranger, like even, maybe I know the world's a little crazy right now, but you go out to
Yeah, of
dinner or
course.
something and you say like, "Oh my gosh, like, I love your outfit," or like, "I love your glasses," whatever to someone. But then, for us, maybe we wake up, an hour later than we planned, it's easy to say like, "Oh my God, I'm so dumb, like I'm stupid,"
Yeah.
or to like talk negatively towards ourselves for like the smallest of things, like like that example, or even just I got one question wrong on
Yeah.
my exam, like I'm terrible, like I don't deserve to get a good grade,
Yeah.
or whatever. So it's so tough that you know we're so prone to talk negatively about ourselves, but we would never say anything like that to
Yeah.
someone else.
That's true. Like, well, today was a great example. So me and Zach have seven
Yeah.
hour time difference. So it's,
Yep.
yeah. So it's for you, it's a bit over 12 p.m. And for me, it's a bit over
Yeah.
7 p.m. in the evening. So
Yep.
I messed up my own calendar and I put Zach's
Yeah.
time there. So in my calendar, it said like 12 p.m. and it should said 7 p.m. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. Like, why would I do that? Like, oh my God, please, Anastasia, focus. And then I just sent a
Right.
screenshot to Zag and he was like, oh, that's so funny. But I would never ever say that to you if you told me, like, oh, I messed
Yeah.
up our time difference thingy. Like, but
Right.
I was so tough on myself. I felt really bad and
Mm-hmm.
like how can you not focus? That's such a small thing. Like why would you have to do that?
Right.
So small things, but it makes a big difference when you're kind to yourself or being really toxic
Definitely.
towards yourself.
definitely. No, I totally agree. And yeah, it's just real quick side note. Yeah, there is a time difference,
Yeah.
quite significant, and it makes communicating
Yeah.
interesting. But you know, you get good at
Yeah, you
math,
get
right?
really good at math and military clock because we have different.
Yes,
So it's like 1928 for me right now. So we have
yeah,
like military clock system.
right, right, definitely. Which, yeah, it helps to think about that
Yeah,
when converting times for sure.
math.
But right, math is fun. But yeah, I mean, like you said, I think that was a great example, and just
Yeah,
something super small, and like of course, like we're talking right now, so it's not like it really impacted anything. It's just, and like you knew like this was coming up, even though you didn't like
yeah.
see it on your calendar
Like
at like the
nothing
right
bad
time, but
happened.
you
Like
still,
nothing, literally
right,
nothing. And
exactly, but you still, yeah, want to like
yeah,
talk negatively to yourself. I totally get that. So, like kind of building off that and just the conversation we've been having for the last few minutes, something that I think I'm definitely passionate about, and I think it's safe to say you have some passion for it as well, is just like mental health and like the mental health space. So, do you mind just kind of like talking about like your passion behind it, or, what interests you about
yeah,
it?
of course. Sorry. Well, a little background. Like I said, I've played basketball. I've always been super tall, over six
Hmm.
feet, and I've always like struggled with my body because I've been this like super boy looking lean kid who has no quote unquote curves. So I've struggled with anorexia a lot of like many years in my life, and also like depression,
Hmm.
anxiety. Well, you name it, I've had it or I've struggled with it. So yeah, I think my passion for mental health. Well, I've seen, of course, social media.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the thing with social media. You see super thin girls who look like perfect fairies. And
Hmm.
me being 6 foot tall, I could never ever look like that. But I tried to look like it. So I starved myself and still played basketball competitively. So that's when my struggle started, I think. And I got bullied a lot in school because I was so tall. I was like feet taller than everyone else. So I got
Hmm.
bullied so bad, and the cake was ready, to be honest. Like that really made me spiral. And yeah, then I had therapy for 2 years and took some depression medication, also like anxiety medication, and really
Hmm.
worked those things out and felt really great. Like I've felt good for
Yeah.
past couple of years, to be honest. But then last um, last year, of course, because of COVID, I don't know.
Hmm.
I didn't relapse, but kind of did. So my mental health was
Yeah.
bad. And then actually my mom's friend is a neurologist, and she was like,
Hmm.
"Well, I've known Anastasia for her whole life. Would it be possible if she had ADHD and maybe some form of autism?" And my mom was like, "Oh my god, like, well, maybe, like, it sounds like my daughter." And then I had the tests done, so yeah, I got
Hmm.
diagnosed with ADHD and Asperger's, which is like I told you it was like a autism related disease. I'm not sure
Yeah.
what the yeah, I think it's like autism related disease or so, something like that.
Hmm.
I'm not I don't know my own syndromes, but like it's disease. It's well, you know, Asperger's. So yeah, I got
Yeah.
diagnosed with ADHD and Asperger's this winter, and
Hmm.
it has opened a lot of locks. I don't know locks, but you know, it has helped me understand myself way better.
Yeah.
Like, usually ADHD gets diagnosed when you go to school, when you have to focus, when
Hmm.
you have to do work and, you know, learn. But I've always been so, I don't know how you say it, but kind, that I just did my work. No matter how long it takes me, I'm just doing, you know, my work, my
Hmm.
homework, and I succeeded in school. But now when I'm older, I've noticed that it takes a toll on me. Just like normal
Yeah.
things, school days, shows, social gatherings, having like social relations, it takes a lot of out of me. So yeah, I got diagnosed with ADHD and Asperger's when I was like 22. So yeah, that's why I'm so passionate about mental health. It's so important.
It is. Yeah, definitely. And I appreciate you, being willing to
Of course.
share kind of a little your background and experiences. And it's crazy to have had to go through those experiences for just being
Yeah.
like who you are, right? Like, with you can't control your
Yeah.
height, for example. Yet that was something that, has caused,
Yeah.
discomfort, about you feeling towards your feelings towards yourself, but other people making comments and stuff like that. Um, and I totally get what you mean with like kind of the diagnosis of ADHD and Asperger's, like those normally are
Yeah.
detected or
Before
determined
school.
at a younger
Yeah.
age when you're in school. Yeah, so it's kind of like maybe it is a late kind of conclusion, but I think I like how you said, since then it's kind of maybe made things a
A
little more
lot.
clear,
Yeah.
and it maybe like has
Yeah.
helped you understand yourself a little bit better, which is good. But at the same time, I know that things like that can have a toll on mental health, and just like I think it's safe to say that there's you know some negative stigmas towards things like
Yeah.
ADHD, for example, and it's just I don't know. We just kind of live in we live in a good world, but also a world where people can be cruel and mean, especially like on social media. And just social media, like I love it, but it can also be very
That's
toxic.
true. That's true. Like like you
Yeah.
said, well, yeah, we live in a like great world, but on the other hand, like I
Hmm.
got death threats through social media, and my
Oh my
they
gosh.
told me that they will, you know, rob our house and like kill my mom or so, like not something like that, like just that, and you know,
Hmm.
getting like death threats when you're maybe like 14 or something like that, it really fucks you up, to be honest. Sorry about my language, but
Yeah.
that's
Oh
like
no, it's okay.
it really affects your mental health and like the sense of security also,
Yeah.
when, because like you said, social media, like, and Finland is a small country, a lot of
Hmm.
people like knew where I lived. So like getting death threats,
Yeah.
and then you have like a, well, then you didn't have like a snap map. I'm just so happy that I didn't have like my Snapchat map then. But you know, maybe in my
Yeah.
Instagram post I would like tag my location and it was our house. So then you're getting like anonymous death threats, and then you notice that in your
Mm.
Instagram post there is like a picture of our house and like the location is turned on.
Yeah.
Like that's a real threat then. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's like, but like you said, social media and like media overall can be super toxic and
Yeah.
kind of, I don't know how I would explain this, but like talking about ADHD, you all like, well, okay, I'm gonna take autism as an example because I do like Asperger's is a form of that, like milder,
Right.
milder, milder form. But when
Right.
you think about autism, how it's showed in movies or in media, it's always like a
Yeah.
mute boy who is super violent or does not have any empathy or
Hmm.
can't like can't do anything really, like can't love or kills birds for
Yeah.
fun or kills like
Right.
rats for fun. It's always like a super creepy uh, kind of.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a horrible stereotype to have for
Right.
an autistic like kid. Like imagine seeing that for your whole life in movies, like horror movies have like
Yeah.
autistic kids, or you have a
Hmm.
school shooter who is always tell you in news that he might be or she might be autistic because she did that or he did that. Like, so then you
Right.
get your diagnosis at age of like, I don't know, 10. And that's all you ever heard about. Like autism is that they
Yeah.
are violent, evil people, and they are always portrayed in movies like as like mute, unloving creatures. So it's it's
Yeah.
it's it takes a toll on you, and it's it's really sad.
It is for sure. And I think like it's just
Mm-hmm.
that misconception and, why I like having these conversations, with people like yourself, just who have passions in these areas or who can
Yes.
share maybe personal experiences, whether it's like on a podcast like this or just personally like off the record in our own time. Like it just, I think having these conversations and like having the openness to say, I've struggled with this, or, this is something that maybe is portrayed incorrectly that I want to like bring attention to, or just even mentioning, the idea of, um, therapy or talking to someone, whether it's like a mental health
Yeah.
professional or just like talking to friends or family, like just normalizing that and like letting people know like people care and like you don't have to go through things
Yeah, that's
alone or
true. And
anything like that.
it is just so important to erase the stigma that like surrounds
Hmm.
all the mental health problems or syndromes or
Yeah,
disabilities.
definitely. I completely agree. And I think we're kind of getting better at,
Yes, that's
getting rid of
true.
the stigmas and having those conversations, but there's still a long way to go, right? And it's just something we have to continue to bring to the forefront. And I mean, it's interesting because, that kind of leads me to another kind of question that I'd love to pick your mind on is like, you've kind of mentioned social media. We've talked about that a little bit, and like Instagram. And I mean, Instagram,
Yeah.
it's all picture based, right? Like you're posting
Yeah,
pictures or I guess
reels.
now
Yeah.
videos or reels, whatever. Um, but you're more times than not, you're showing yourself, like, right. You might take a picture video of like a
Yeah, or
cool
coffee mug
building or
or yeah.
something, but a lot of the times you're right. Yeah, some food or whatever. But a lot of the times it's posting about your like a picture of yourself or video of yourself. And I think, for me or for many people, you might experience some kind of comments or, insecurities, but being, a woman, I know that there's a lot within society with like standards and everything and just comparing and everything. Like, I mean, I don't know, even like with your background, like doing some modeling and stuff, like how do you feel social media, like Instagram, for example, it, like impacts just thoughts and perceptions of kind of
Yeah,
societal
well,
standards?
of course we are. I think we are like I'm 22, so we have 2 years of age
Hmm.
gap, but I think we're fortunate in that area that we kinda were like older when Instagram and Snapchat and those
Yeah.
platforms came out. So And when I started Instagram, I think, sorry, 2013 or 14, I'm not
Okay.
sure. But then there was like, you had like, it was just like snapping pictures, and people used
Hmm.
it as like a diary, or, you had those Valencia filters
Yeah.
slapped on everything. And you like,
Yeah.
Photoshop was not a thing. Like, of course, people would use it, but you could see it, and
Yeah.
only like pros would use Photoshop. So I think, of
Hmm.
course, it did affect me in a way. You had to look always your best, and have a lot of likes. And
Yeah.
can you remember those like hashtags? Like, people would post so many hashtags like under their pictures to get like likes. Yeah,
Yep.
so people would like
Yep.
compete, who has the most likes. And oh my god. But then now, when it's like all just fake, 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 fake filters, fillers, plastic
Yeah.
surgeries, where like people won't like say that they had it, even though they do have some
Hmm.
work done, and Photoshop and paid paparazzi pictures. And it's just so fake nowadays. And I'm feeling super bad for the girls and boys who are now learning about social media. So now being like maybe 10-year-old
Yeah.
or 8-year-olds, because the pressure is so, oh, it's like, I can't even describe it. Like, the pressure to look like Kylie Jenner is, oh,
Yeah.
wow. Like, when you open your Instagram and you see those girls and boys who Photoshop and put like silicone implants, and get fillers, and
Yeah.
they do everything to look perfect, and they don't like admit it.
Yeah.
Like, they are like, oh, this is natural, I'm all natural. No,
Hmm.
never, 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 I would never Photoshop my pictures. And these little boys and girls, they believe it
Yeah.
because they don't know it any better. And then they like
Yeah.
compare themselves to those Instagram celebrities. It just makes me so sad.
Yep.
Like, the pressure, like the
Yeah.
social pressure is, wow, it's just so big.
It is, and I think that's a great perspective. Like with
Yeah.
with us in our age, in our early to mid 20s, we kind of came up in a time where social media was just kind of becoming a thing. Whereas now, like, yeah, I mean, I feel like most kids, as young as maybe 10,
Hi,
might be
hey,
getting these
sorry.
accounts
My
and,
goddaughter
just,
is 2, and she has her own Spotify account, and she can use YouTube. She's 2. She can
jeez,
talk.
yeah.
Like
Oh
10,
my
like
gosh.
10
Yeah.
was way up. Like, I would say like 7 maybe. Like, kids nowadays, yeah, they have
Yeah.
like
That's a good
iPads and
point.
iPhones when they're like 2, like my goddaughter.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a
Yeah,
good point.
younger,
Yeah. So, I mean,
younger.
it's just younger and younger. And like, I mean, just being that young and then pulling up, Instagram or whatever and seeing, Kylie
Yeah.
Jenner, Kendall Jenner, whoever else, or even, male
Yeah,
actors too.
me
I can't
neither.
really think of anyone no one's coming to mind, but, like just seeing that, I think
Logan
it puts
Paul and
pressure
those,
on
like,
young
those
people.
content creators.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those are good ones for sure. And like it just puts that pressure on. And I feel like at that age, you
Yeah,
don't
you
necessarily
don't like,
understand.
yeah, you
So you
like,
kind of
when,
internalize.
like you said, social media kind of grew up with us, with our age group. Like, it
Hmm.
it blew up
Yeah.
when we were like teens, but we still had like
Hmm.
almost 10 years before that we could like grow up like normal, quote unquote normal, without
Yeah.
social media, and we had some kind of understanding about life. before social media, and we had like
Yeah.
a, I don't know, well, a childhood without social media. But now when kids are
Hmm.
like 7 or 2, and they can use like YouTube, like I said, my goddaughter, she can use YouTube perfectly, and like she
Hmm.
just watches videos that come to her recommendation page. I think it's like recommended page, yeah. And
Yeah.
of course you have like those kids videos, but then when you click enough, you get to some weird shit, to be honest. So like, and she doesn't know it because
Yeah.
she just thinks that they are all kid videos for her, and she just presses
Right.
and goes on and
Right.
on and on and on. And then she has like maybe like a police body cam on like a assault situation or something like that, and then she's watching it.
Yeah.
It's
Hmm. Yeah, it's just crazy how much is out there. And like you said, your goddaughter is a great example. Someone so young that doesn't know what they're consuming or what they're seeing. Like, it's so easy, like the access to be able to
yeah,
find things like that and like just be exposed to so much because of like how big social media is, or like, just uploading and stuff like that. It's
yeah,
it's
and they can
crazy.
like I said, she can talk, so she can tell you that, oh, mom, I saw this and this, or oh, this really makes me feel bad,
Right.
or I have nightmares from this. Like, what is
Yeah.
this, mom? Please explain to me, or something like that. They just like consume it, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yep.
Like it's just
Yeah.
so sad.
No,
Yeah,
that's a great
like,
point. It is. It is. And they're just the pressures and everything that comes in, that social media brings. It's just so tough. And like, kind of, you mentioned earlier, um, in this conversation that, I think you would say that you personally, you have a pretty, like, I would say, like,
yes,
athletic kind of like
yes,
body type, right? Like athletic body type.
like,
Yeah, I guess that
yeah, like
covers it.
skinny,
But
yeah,
also with
yeah,
your experience doing, yeah. And maybe like we'll say quote unquote like the society, like what society might like
yeah, yeah. It's
look
like
at as, being
appropriate,
attractive
yeah,
or
yeah,
beautiful. Yeah, exactly. And like you've had experiences doing different things with modeling and stuff like that. So like you have that kind of experience, but at the end of the day, like I know like we've talked about like off the record, like that doesn't really
it doesn't mean nothing.
change
No,
how much pressure
no,
that you're gonna
you're
feel.
never
Yeah, like
enough.
right.
Like you're never enough. Like I like
Exactly.
you can weigh like 90 pounds and you're still too fat, and you may have the
Hmm.
most beautiful eyes, and they're still like, oh, they're too wide. Or you can be like the most, like you can
Hmm.
work out so much and have such like toned amazing body, and you are too manly or muscular. Like you're never enough. Like that's
Yeah.
just like, so that's the saddest thing about social media, that no matter what you do, you're
Yeah.
never enough. And when I realized that, it kind of
Right.
set me free, like realizing
Yeah.
that, like I think kind of young, in a young age, in a way, because I got bullied so much. I just
Hmm.
like, I am who I am, and if they don't like me, screw that kind of stuff. And the same thing with social media. When
Yeah.
you realize that you don't have to like make anyone like you, or make your
Hmm.
make your body look like socially acceptable, quote unquote. You know what I mean? I mean, like,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, skinny or starve yourself. You're never enough. So why would you do that? Like,
Yeah.
why? Like, yeah,
Yeah. Definitely. And I mean, I think something that you and I talk about, is just the idea of
yeah,
being healthy, right? Like, you know, it doesn't, like, I think, from us talking, we talked about how, just focusing
yeah.
on eating to be
Nourishing your
healthy
body.
and like, not exactly, because like our bodies, like when you think about it, like our bodies are crazy, like machines that do, incredible tasks throughout the day. So like we need to fuel our body and like, like by all means, like go eat,
Yeah, yeah,
a pack of cookies and stuff like that. Like we're not saying, you can't eat like, junk food or whatever, but like the food that you put into your body, like it's meant to nourish you and help you kind of just function. So, you need it. And by starving yourself or just maybe
yeah,
even
or
restricting
binging
what
and
you
then like
eat,
throwing up or something like that.
yeah,
It just makes so much harm to your body, and like I've always told myself, like my body has done nothing wrong, you know. I'm just existing, like it's a
mm,
meat
yeah,
machine. I just like it's
yeah,
just like basically meat
right,
and bones and organs, and it's just chilling, you know.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it has done nothing wrong
yeah,
to me, so why would I like punish it? Why would I starve it?
exactly. Yeah, that's a great point. And, something like we kind of talked about celebrities and stuff. And, the thing that I just want to make it abundantly clear to anyone listening, like you think of, you know, Kendall or Kylie Jenner or um,
Yeah.
even like, Logan, Jake Paul, kind of like you mentioned as content creators, like um, people like that or actresses and actors, whatever, they get
Yes.
paid millions of dollars to look the way that they look. So like it kind of makes sense that you might hear them saying like, oh my god, like I have like a 6 hour workout every day and I eat super
That's
like
their
clean
job.
whatever, but
Yeah,
like
that's their
they're
job.
getting paid
Yeah.
millions to do that. Yeah, that is their job. So like don't feel like you have to hold yourself to those standards. Like if that's your job or what you're pursuing, okay, but for like
Yeah.
your
Goes to
everyday
school.
average
Yeah.
person, like that's just so much pressure to put on yourself. Yeah, like it's just unrealistic, to say like, and plus like these,
Yeah, of
famous people,
course.
they also have the resources, right? Like they might have the personal chef to make the meals, or they might have 24-hour, gym access in their house, whatever. And for your average person that's like a student or working, a normal job,
Yeah, and
you
like
just don't have those
yeah, that's
same
true. And
resources all the
then
time.
like no, well, I just read an article about Kim Kardashian and her skincare routine. So she says
Mm-hmm.
that, oh my god, I just use my normal products and then I go have a facial once a month, and then the uh, writer of this article like looked up what kind of facial she has once a month, and it will cost you like
Mm-hmm.
$2,000. But that's just like she just says it
Wow.
in a like a middle of a sentence, like, oh, I just use like I have a facial once a month, like it's not that much, but it will cost you two thousand
Yeah.
dollars to get it done. It's like this kind of like laser
Jeez.
treatment. But that's just something that people forget,
Yeah.
like they have millions of dollars, that's their only job. They do have like
Right.
professional, like you said, professional chefs, like personal trainers, which will work
Yeah.
out with them, every single day, make their workout
Mm-hmm.
plans, have professional makeup, hair done, professional
Yeah.
photographers, cameras, maybe Photoshop. They have literally everything. They can
Yeah.
stage everything they want. Like, they will
Yeah.
say that, oh, I use this day cream to make my skin look this good, it will only cost you like $100, and then they go have a $2,000 facial the same day and like, oh my god, this is just this cream.
Yeah.
But go
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
There's just a lot that.
I was just going to
Oh, what were
say
you gonna
that,
say?
going back what we talked a bit earlier about little kids, they don't know this, like
Mm-hmm.
they don't have
Yeah.
the knowledge of this all, so they will just consume, like being 8 or 9 or 10, they don't know this all, they don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
so they just think that they should look like that, and that's the only acceptable form of you know
Yeah. Of just like
yeah,
standards or beauty or whatever. And I think, yeah, it's so problematic. And again, media is awesome, but like there's the toxicity of like in the media, like on movies, on television,
yeah,
whatever. You see kind of the same looking people. You know what I mean? Like
of
the
course.
lead roles or whatever are typically like you know this kind of stereotypical beauty standards, whether it's you're talking about
It's
men
yeah,
or women.
yeah,
It's kind of like a standard. And it's ingrained in our minds from a young age, like this is, attractive, or this is beautiful, or this is how you should look. And, even when it comes to like, I know we both like music, so like music artists, like, you know, people will say
Yeah.
like, oh, they don't have the look. And you're like,
Yeah,
but
but
they
that's
sound
not the
really
thing
good.
anymore. Like that's not something that like that's not enough. Like you will sound like Adele or
Right.
Taylor Swift or like Billie Eilish, but you don't look, yeah, like that's not
Hmm.
enough. You don't look like a superstar. So we will not make you a superstar. Even
Yeah.
like you have to lose 30 pounds before that or something like that. And going, sorry.
Yeah,
I was
definitely.
just
And
gonna say that
what were
going
you gonna
a
say?
bit back, like and we talk about our
Hmm.
heights in like
Yeah.
outside this podcast. Like we both joked that like I could give
Yeah.
you some inches, and and we can meet up like 5'8"
Yeah.
or something like that. Like that's just
Yeah.
something that like social, like that's something that social media like has put like a standard that you have to be like,
Hmm.
the tall and not tall, short and skinny girl with like super tall, muscular man. And that's
Hmm.
the only thing that's acceptable.
Yeah.
So, us joking about it, of course, we
Right.
did joke, but that's also
Yeah.
like, why would we even like, now I'm thinking back at it, like, that's just so toxic. Also, like, it is so toxic.
It
Now we are
is.
being toxic. But
Yeah.
like that's the social norm. You have to have like the short, skinny girl,
Hmm.
like 5'1", and then you have like over like 6'2", muscular, bearded man, and that's the perfect couple.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that it's really awesome that you brought that up, because like it just goes to show, like we're talking about, we spend a lot of time today talking about mental health and the pressure and expectations of society.
No, no,
But
not at all.
we're
No.
not perfect by any means. Like we fall in that trap. Like in our own personal thoughts, in our conversations, like we still kind of play into these. And that's not a fault of ours. That's just the fault of
Yeah,
the
and
world
we're
we live in. Like
learning.
this is normal, and this is
Yeah.
something we all experience. Exactly. We're learning. And I think, a good message that I think we both kind of want to share from this conversation today is like it's so much easier said than done, but like you were saying, once you
Yeah,
kind
the
of
way you are.
accept yourself and start to like kind of like exactly, and like love yourself for who you are, maybe like stop, trying to like identify with like a certain number on a scale, or like to, look a certain way, and just to be happy with who you are and to love who you are. I think that's like when you kind of feel the most free, and you're able to just
Yeah.
be in the moment and enjoy your life
Yeah,
because
and
you're
just do
happy. You're
what you're
happy for who
passionate
you are.
about, even like no matter what it is. If you want to,
Hmm.
run a marathon, or you want to start gardening, or you want to read 50 books per year, just do it.
Yeah.
Like, it is so important to do things that make you truly happy. Not that you are accepted by society, but like things that make
Yeah,
yourself happy.
definitely. And I mean, like, to anyone listening that might be younger, when
Like a
I say younger,
teens. Yeah.
um, maybe high school, yeah, in their teens, high school, maybe just starting college, whatever, just like in kind of like school, I feel like there's a lot of pressure, like, oh, like, the athletes are the cool people, like the people that do cheer are, cool, the cool girls, whatever. And, you and I both
Yes.
have kind of more athletic backgrounds. So, like, that's kind of the circles we ran in and stuff at times. But, like, if you're super passionate about science,
Oh,
join
math.
like the science team, or like if you're super passionate about like, yeah, like it doesn't matter. Like I feel like there's just so much pressure, and like you see in movies, like these high school movies and stuff,
Yeah,
like,
there are soccer
the cool
players, or
kids or whatever. Like
yeah,
just if you're passionate about something, yeah, like do what you're passionate about, do what you care about. Like if
or
that's
gaming,
singing, dancing,
whatever.
theater,
Yeah.
you know, art, gaming, yeah, like there's just so many options, especially like, you know, in the world we live in now, where it's like, oh my God, like for example, like I want to go into gaming, like I want to stream. Well, like there's so many resources to like look up like what kind of like equipment do I need? How can I stream? Like, whatever you're passionate about, there's so many resources out there. So, go for it. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. And like, as cliche as it might sound, like people
Yeah.
love to hate, haters are gonna
You do
hate,
you.
whatever, but just try to not let that get to you because for those negative voices, there's also going to be those positive voices that are
And then
cheering
you
you on
can
and
like
encouraging you
look
throughout your
back
journey.
and say that, oh, well, I did what I wanted to do. I did something that made me happy.
Exactly. Exactly. And sometimes that means like stepping out of your comfort zone a little bit. And, maybe you might think like, oh, this
Yeah, just
interests
try
me. And
it.
you'll never know
Yeah.
if it's your
Uh,
greatest passion until you try.
yeah, I was just gonna say
Definitely.
that my mom always
Yeah.
tells
So,
me that
yeah.
when I try something that I don't like it, she just says to me like, "Okay, you tried it, and now you know that you don't like it, and that's okay." Also, like, change things up if
Right.
you want. Like, it's not the end of the world if you don't like it. Like, just try things and
Right.
explore in a way.
Yeah. Definitely. I think it's so important too, especially,
Yes.
and I would say we're still young, right? Like so like even in your 20s, late 20s, like you're still young. So there's always time, even
Yeah,
after that, like even in your, 40s, 50s, 60s, there's always time to explore and see what's out there and see what, makes you happy. Because at the end of the day, we have a limited amount of time on this planet. So, whatever we can do to chase our passions and be
that's
happy, I
true.
think
You're
is super
totally
important for
right.
us to pursue. Yeah, definitely. So, I guess, is there um, anything that you want to give the listeners to like last thoughts, last ideas, advice,
Really,
anything like
none.
that?
I think you summed everything up really greatly. Just you do
Yeah,
you. Like, make whatever makes you happy and try new things. And
right.
it doesn't matter if you fail or you don't like it. Well, you tried it and that's okay. Like, just try again or try new stuff or
Yeah,
new passion. It's like life is all about learning, in my opinion. So yeah.
it is. It's important to learn. And like, I know this might sound like negative to
Yeah,
some,
that's
but like
true.
life
Yeah.
is kind of about failing. You're gonna fail and like, right. Like it kind of sounds a little weird, but like you're gonna fail a lot and that's part of life. And until you fail,
Yeah, yeah,
you don't
exactly.
know what you don't know, right? So like you have to try, you have to put yourself out there. It can be intimidating, it can be
Yeah.
scary, but just take that leap of faith. It's definitely worth it. And it, you could stumble upon the greatest thing that you've ever
Yeah,
done or
maybe make a
learned about
career out
yourself
of
in your
it
life.
or something. You never know.
Yeah, exactly, definitely. So, if anything that we talked about like resonated with any of the listeners, is there anything that like any social media or I know you might be streaming sometime in the near future,
Yeah,
anything
of
that you
course.
want to,
So my
drop?
Instagram is my name, just my name. So Anastasia Schanner. And well, my Twitch is Anastati, which is really weird for you guys because it's literally in Finnish. That means like my name. So Anna and then mushroom.
Yeah.
So, but my Twitch is in my Instagram bio. So yeah, Anastasia Schanner.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. So yeah,
Yeah.
if anything,
Or you want to know what I
resonated
look like? You
with
want to
anyone
put the
listening today,
face
feel free
on
to
a
reach out.
voice or something? Like, go for it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, by all means check
Yes,
her
thank
out.
you.
I'll put in the description of this episode kind of, your Instagram and your Twitch too, if anyone wants to just kind of follow those links. But, I appreciate you taking the time to talk today. And, I know off the record we're gonna have plenty more conversations about life and everything. But, I appreciate you sharing kind of your perspectives on life and your personal experiences. And I know that, whatever journey, you end up going on in life, I know you're going to do some great things and you're going to continue to inspire people and help people. And, I think that there's a lot of cool
Thank
things
you so
coming
much. And
soon in
I'm
your
just
future as
so
well.
honored to be in your podcast. And I'm just so happy that you asked me. And I appreciate it a lot. This has been super fun. And Yeah, thank you. You're an amazing podcast host.
Of course. Thank you. I appreciate that. And, maybe this is the start of a potential
Yeah, of
series, or
course.
we'll definitely have to have you come back sometime for a part two and some more conversation about some good stuff. So yeah, I mean, if you listened all this
Thank
way
you.
through and you liked kind of the realness and like kind of depth that we talked about,
Yeah,
like let us know what else you want us to talk about. Because yeah, it's fun talking about like these things, even though some of it can be
of
serious
course.
and heavy. It's important to
Yeah,
have the
thank you
conversation.
so
So
much. This
we'll
has
definitely have to
been
do this
so
again.
fun.
Of course. I'm glad you had a good time. Thank you again
Yeah,
for the
and thank
time
you
and
for the
stopping by, and
listeners
we'll
if
talk to you
you
later.
like made it this far.
Yes. Yes, thank you very much to everyone listening. Hope that you found some value or some entertainment out of this, and just kind of like we were saying, just know that you're not alone. Know that there's always people to talk to,
Yes.
and to do what you love no matter what.
Talk to you later. Bye.
All right.